Welcome to this episode of Locked In. We're doing another real-time tire review. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Panaracer Gravel King Slicks. So if you're looking for an ultimate road gravel tire, please stay tuned. And so in this video, we're going to take my Cobalt Warhawk, set up in road-ish mode with my 700 by 32 Gravel Kings. Now they do offer these tires in multiple different sizes in 700. So you can check that out on their website. I'll be putting a link to these exact size tires. Full disclosure, Amazon did not send me these tires. I paid for them with my own money, but their link on Amazon does have the best pricing. So let's do a little bit of a ride and talk about these tires and if they're right for you, your current gravel bike, road bike even, or who knows what else. Everyone who wants to know my recommended specs for these before we get into the full review, I typically run my 32s at the max PSI that they're rated at when I'm riding road, which is 60 PSI. I may put a few pounds less in the front, but these I do wish could go up to about 80. And then on some mild gravel like you've seen on this ride, about 40-ish in the front and 45 in the back is kind of my sweet spot, so I don't worry about bottoming out. And just for number's sake, I'm roughly about 185 pounds. So let's get to the turnaround point, and I'll tell you the rest about these Gravel Kings. So let's go over what the Gravel Kings are. They are a semi-slick, let's call it, gravel tire. They do come in multiple different widths. I believe all the way from like a 28 up to a 42 or a 48. I'll insert the minimum and maximum size here on the screen because I know they've been adding some sizes. Now, essentially, the center of this is a very, very small, I don't even want to call it a micro knob. It's more of just like a small textured pattern. Then you have these chevron slats in multiple directions on the mid shoulder of the tire to help with cornering grip. Now, these are again called a gravel tire, and I think they do work with some hero gravel like you've seen in the footage in this video. I think this is really where they shine. You drop down 10 to 20 psi from the road pressure, and you can smooth out the road quite a bit, especially if you have a bike with, let's say, not super crazy tire tolerances. So if you can only maybe max at a 28 or a 32, these are gonna be pretty supple and give you some decent grip over just a semi full road slick that you just drop pressure on. They do come in tubed and tubeless, as well as an endurance casing, and prices do vary between all those varieties. I have just the standard casing in tubeless. They do make it in a black and a tan wall, so if you don't like the sidewall color, you can definitely get a different version. Now let's get into price. These tires, in the time that I'm filming this video, when I just looked at before I hit this ride, was $38.99 on sale up to $45.99 on Amazon Prime. So you can check that link in the links below. If you want to buy a set of these, please use my affiliate link. It does help support the channel. And let's get into my final thoughts. I think this tire, if you can clear more, I definitely would say I would get a bigger size than this. The next size tire that I would get for my road setup for my gravel bike is probably gonna be at least a 35, maybe a 38. The really killer spec for these tires is the low weight. For this 32C size, I weighed mine at, before sealant was added, at 285 grams, and I've weighed a 38C, which was only about 305 grams, which is insane for how big this is. That is a lot lower weight than most other tires in this size. Keep in mind, this is again the standard casing, not the endurance. But I have to say, they don't last super long. I'm assuming the low weight is due to the low amount of rubber. They do have little snake bite holes for wear marks, and they aren't very deep. If you look at your tires, they may or may not have them. Some brands use them, some don't. But there isn't that much depth to them, and you are going to wear out the rear tire a lot faster. So I've already swapped these tires at about the 600 mile mark, since I basically lost the texture pattern on the rear tire after about that many miles. So I put it on the front, which I know is not recommended, but I typically only take these on road rides and not really any crazy gravel, minus what you've seen in this video so far. So I think if you're wanting to experiment with gravel or want a brown sidewall tire that fits in your endurance bike or your road bike with maybe bigger clearance, I would definitely highly recommend these. If you're trying to convert your gravel bike to a road-ish bike and you want some lighter weight tires to go with your lighter weight road wheels, I would definitely recommend these pretty much in any size, but for a gravel bike, I'd recommend at least a 32. And last spec for these, they actually did measure out to about a 34 on my Whiskey Carbon rim. So if you do have a wider rim, I believe mine are 27 external, they are going to plump up to about a 34. So they are going to get a little bit bigger. So if you are running tire tight clearances with a wider rim, make sure to maybe spec down a size. So I hope you like this real-time review. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do have a Patreon below to help support this channel to make this a full-time YouTube thing. And if you want to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, the links are in the description below. And thanks for watching this episode of Locked In.
Let's get locked in today, like tutorial.